What's up, beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Crystal, this is One Book Reviews, and today I have to do this quick intro because I'm about to start a reading challenge. The question is, do we trust Brit? So, if you don't know Brit from Brittany Loves Reading, she is fantastic, one of my closest friends here on this YouTube world, and she has inadvertently challenged a bunch of us to see if we can trust her. So this all started with the fact that she loves dark academia, and I don't. And I saw her talking about how much she loved If We Were Villains, and it's a very dark academia book, and I was like, maybe I need to read it because it's one of your faves. Maybe I need to give it a shot and see if it's the dark academia that changes my mind. So I then put out the challenge to her to give me 3 recommendations of dark academias that she thinks I should try. And then a whole bunch of us decided to do it. So you will be seeing a list of us doing this. I will have them all linked down below so you can go check them all out. They're all coming out today on Brittany's birthday. Whether or not we can trust Brit. We're all reading different book recommendations from her. Mine are all dark academia recs. Some of the others are also dark academia recs and some others. The 3 books that you're going to be hearing about me reading in this reading thing is If We Are Villains, Babel, and In My Dreams I Hold a Knife. So I am about to get into my car and do the 2-hour drive home, and I have decided that I am going to start one of these 3 books because I need to read a book that is over 400 pages for Pokemon anyways to get the one of the like themed Pokemons for the winter theme. So I figured I would film this intro and get you started. Once I've actually picked a book and gotten into it and know what it's about, I'll give you an update. But that's where we're at. So Brit, can I trust you? I don't know. Let's find out. So I finally have a chance to update you. I'm about 2.5 hours into If We Were Villains, and I'm so sorry, Brit. I know this is one of your favorites that you suggested to me, and I am trying my darndest to like this book, but I just am not. I'm gonna keep pushing because I think something is about to happen that is going to like change the pacing. But at the moment, I'm really struggling. So far we have a group of about 5 drama students. They're at this academic school. They're in their 4th and final year. And they are completing Shakespearean plays. And they get a random letter that tells them their part, and then they have to go to the middle of nowhere and complete this play, having never rehearsed together. The play has just happened, and that entire scene was literally like I was reading Macbeth. Like, it was literally, they were doing Macbeth, the lines were the lines from Macbeth, which, like, I get it was probably to get the atmosphere set, but it just feels like a lot of the book is me reading lines from an actual Shakespearean play. So I want something to happen that isn't part of a play for just a second. And I'm thinking someone is going to get murdered. Someone is going to get angry because in this play, the one who's usually the lead was not made the lead for once. So he's potentially going to become jealous. There seems to become kind of like other little relationship going on between the 2 people. All in all, it's not like, I see why it's dark academia and I can see why I'm not liking it. And I think it's the pacing that's the problem for me. So I think something needs to happen to change the pacing for me to like pick up and actually like this book. Because so far the writing style is not my cup of tea. Excuse me. And the characters I don't really care about. I can see why Brit likes this book. Because she very much likes this like old-fashioned writing. That sounds really bad. I'm sorry, Brit. But like, yeah, not a huge fan. We shall see if it gets better. I'm about 25% through. So I am going to finish. My goal is that I will finish every single one of these books. I am not going to DNF any of them. But so far, not so good. So we're at 25% through the first book. And so far, I do not trust Brit. But we shall see if things change by the end of this video. So I've officially made it to 50% of We Were Villains. And I'm starting to trust Brit a little bit. So hear me out. I still don't like the Shakespeareanism of this, and whenever they go on tangents and start speaking in Shakespearean language or the writing, what they'll do is there'll be a certain part of the book where it'll be flowing in normal English, normal like conversation, and then it'll be like Richard, and then what he says, and then Ren, and then like what they said. And it, instead of it being a normal flowing conversation, it'll be like a play in terms of like they're saying their lines. And that's kind of really disjointing to me, and that's the part of it that I don't like. And then the second part of it that I don't like is they will be in normal English conversation, and then out of nowhere they'll just drop a Shakespearean line as if it's part of everyday conversation, which like it used to be. I get that, and I get that they are these students, but that's kind of what's annoying me, is the Shakespeareanism of it. However, the darkness and like the links to the old Shakespearean plays, I am appreciating, and like the mystery of it all, I'm appreciating. So what we've discovered now is what I predicted. Jealousy happened, someone died, and someone has been arrested for it. And we are now trying to figure out if they actually did it, who actually did it, why they were arrested, was it for this or for something else, so on and so forth. I'm finding myself interested enough to want to find out what happens, but not interested enough that I want to read another like 200 odd pages to figure it out. So I'm going to finish it. But if I wasn't reading this for Brittany, I would probably just say to Brittany, hey, like, can you just tell me what happens? Because I don't want to waste any more time on it. But I'm going to finish it, and maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised. But at the moment, it's sitting around a 3-star. So we shall see how we go. I'm trusting her a little bit more the further I get into it, though. But the pacing is very slow, and the disjarringness of some of the language is starting to irritate me. But then I find if I listen to it in like a big chunk, I actually start to really like get into the flow of it and get interested. But if I just listen to like little bits at a time, it's starting to become more and more annoying with each little bit. So maybe it's the kind of thing I need to sit down and just like finish. We shall see. I'll update you at the 75% mark, but that's where my thoughts are at the moment. My prediction that I am going to put out there is that he did not do it. She did. And if you've read the book, you'll know who he and she I'm talking about. But I'm trying to say this with as little spoilers as possible. I just think he took the rap for it. But we shall see what ends up happening. Okay, so I have reached the 90% mark, and the big reveal has just happened. I do not think it is going to be the last reveal. I think there is going to be one other twist on top of this twist. But the big reveal has just happened as to who it was that caused the murder. And I can see why it was this person, but also like it makes kind of not sense. So all in all, I'm not finished yet. I still have 10% left, but so far it's still seeing me at 3 stars. I found myself quite bored in the middle. I didn't really find myself caring as much about the characters as I think I should have in this situation, or relating to them, because I'm not really into the things they're into, etc. It hasn't made me completely not trust you yet, but I definitely am going to need the other 2 books to really like wow me for me to continue to take Rex of Dark Academia from you. You haven't persuaded me yet. I didn't hate this as much as other Dark Academia books that I have read, but it's not changed my mind yet. There's still 10% left. It might do that. This 3-star might become a 5-star. There's been books that 10% has made a difference, but for now, I'm still sitting at a 3-star, and I still semi-trust you, Brit. So let's find out in the last 10% if anything changes. So I've officially finished If We Were Villains, and I was right. The last 10 minutes did not make any difference. So I apologize, Brit, but it's a 3-star for me. You haven't changed my mind about Dark Academia yet. So I'm now going to take a break from Dark Academia because this took me 6 days to read, which was quite a long time for a book like this. So I'm going to take a break, read something else, and I'll come back to you with some more updates when I start the next book. I think next I'm going to do In My Dreams I Hold a Knife, and then I'll save Babel for last. So I'll see you when I start In My Dreams We Hold a Knife. Okay, you're getting me in the shitty lighting. It's 4:45 in the morning. I am just about to get on the train, but I needed to give this update because I'll be on the quiet carriage, so I won't be able to actually talk on the train. But I have started In My Dreams We Hold a Knife, which is the next book. That just went really dark. Which is the next book for the lovely Brit Can I Trust Her series. I have gotten to 25% already because I didn't get a chance to film this until now, and I think I'm starting to trust Brit. So far, this story follows somebody who has It's kind of in a similar vein to to If We Were Villains, in terms of like there's one narrator who's kind of telling the story of something that happened in the past, and there's like alluded that something went wrong in the past and that they are to blame, but they're an unreliable narrator, so you don't really know if it's them that they're talking about when they talk about the bad thing. But this is done in a much better way and a much more palatable way that I've been preferring in My Dreams We Hold a Knife. I don't know whether it's because I like the main character more or because the writing is more my style, but I'm really, really enjoying it. I'm 25% in. So far, we've kind of just met her. There's like a little illusion of like that something happened and she's gone back to the school for the reunion. And then we're also getting like flashbacks while she's at the reunion of like what's happened in the past. So I'm about to jump on my train. I'll stop listening to it now because I also need to finish another book for the end of the month, because it's currently the 30th of January and I need one more book that I need to finish for my ping pong, as well as for the chicken prompt, which is a book with that is from a book club. So I'm going to now pick up Jade City again. But I just wanted to let you know that's where I'm at with In My Dreams I Hold a Knife, 25%, and I'm starting to trust Brit. A lot of other creators that are doing this are going out and buying Canadian snacks. That is really difficult for me to do in Australia here, but I will be eating a Reese's peanut butter cup today in spirit. So I decided to get some like American Canadian foods to eat for my breakfast for this vlog. And the most American thing I can think of is bagels. And so I'm gonna try that new TikTok trend where they are doing bagels with like cream cheese and making and like cinnamon and making them like super like in the air fryer and making them like a hot cinnamon donut or something. I don't know, there's this whole trend going around. I have it tagged, I have it saved, and I'll link it down below, so if you want to try them yourself you can. And then I got some coffee syrup, caramel coffee syrup, to go in my iced coffee, because I know that I'll have to have a coffee with this because that's Brit's favorite drink to drink is coffee. But the problem is one packet of bagels, one thing of cream cheese, the coffee syrup, and I bought some bubble tea because it was on sale, was $20. Like, what is fucking going on with the world? Anyways, rant over. I'm gonna go make myself a bagel for breakfast. Okay, so it is currently cooking in the air fryer. The coffee is being expressed, ready to add to my flavored milk. But I will let you know what I've done. I was gonna film the whole process, but it's like time for work and I just don't have time. So in here I have 2 bagels that I mixed in a bowl. I put cream cheese, 2 tablespoons of cream cheese, 1 big heap spoon of brown sugar, some vanilla, like a little dash, and some cinnamon. I think that's it. Mixed it all together, buttered my bagel, put it on top of it and put it in the air fryer. I am doing 200 degrees Celsius for 8 minutes, which is 400 Fahrenheit approximately, I think. I don't know. So I'm gonna have that with my coffee, and hopefully it will feel very Americanized, very Canadian. I don't know, it's my attempt. But I've reached the 25% mark in My Dreams I Hold a Knife. We've just discovered like the secret that they have all kind of been like pining over for 10 years. So one of the people that is at the reunion, his sister was brutally murdered, stabbed 17 times. Everyone else has kind of gone on with their life and they've become like social media influencers and lawyers and successful people and got married and everybody's happy, and he spent 17 years trying to like solve the murder. So this book I think is going to be like a jump back and forth timeline situation where we're going to find out what really happened. There's already been affairs, well, like cheating, and like some crazy stuff go down. So I have a feeling it's going to be quite interesting, quite fast paced, and I'm actually going to be more invested in this. So this may be a dark academia that may sway me into trusting Brit. Oh, buddy. It is only fitting that I have the lovely queen up on the TV while I eat this and work. My laptop's dead, I gotta get my charger, but I will be watching her Timmy's TBR video while I eat my cinnamon concoction. I don't know why I thought this would be Canadian, but it seems like something a Canadian would do. Bagels and cream cheese with cinnamon? I don't know. And my flavored coffee. It's not Timmy's coffee, but I'm still drinking coffee while I watch you. And I just realized how creepy that sounds. Okay, so I'm about to go into a meeting, but my feedback on the DIY, there is an evacuation happening somewhere over near me. I apologize for the sound, but in terms of the opinion on the DIY like cinnamony scroll bagel thing that I made, the cream cheese tasted much better when it was like raw, because I ate like the leftovers just by a spoon. It tasted okay on a baked bagel, like it wasn't terrible, but it was overly sweet. So if I was going to do it again, I would either put less brown sugar or I would do something to like remove the sweetness, or I would just make that cream cheese and spread it on an actually cooked bagel rather than baking the whole thing. All in all though, like it was great, but it's not like a new addiction, like must have more of mine. In terms of the new coffee syrup that I got, again, it's okay. I was making my own coffee creamer using like condensed milk and flavorings. What I might do is the next time I make my own coffee creamer, I might put this caramel syrup in the coffee creamer and see if that makes it taste a bit better than just putting it directly in the coffee with some milk. Anyways, you didn't really need to know that. But for the 1 or 2 people that were remotely interested, that is my response. I'm going to go into my meeting now, but there's my update. I have just finished work for the day. Today was fantastic. I had a author signing with Tate James. She is fantastic. We have signed copies on the Booktopia website if you're interested and live in Australia. She was great. It was so much fun. She even signed a copy for me, so that was great. And yeah, so they will be available if you're interested. But yeah, we just finished a signing, and I worked here for the rest of the day at the warehouse instead of at my usual office. But I'm just about to leave and drive home, and it takes a bit longer to get home from here than normal. So I should hopefully finish the rest of In My Dreams I Hold a Knife. I'm currently 63% into the book, and I am actually really invested in this story. I want to know what is going on. This is the biggest everyone was fucking lying to everyone drama that I have read that I've actually really enjoyed. I usually hate stories like this. They piss me off. I hate high school drama. I'm not interested. But for some reason, these characters, I want to fucking know who did what and who's responsible for what. So this is going to be, I think, the book that makes me trust Brit. So I'm 62% through. So far it's sitting at probably a 4-star. I think the ending is gonna give it the possibility to become a 5-star depending on how it goes. It'll go one of 2 ways. It'll either become a 5-star or a 2-star depending on the ending. So I'm gonna plow through. I may or may not get it finished on the drive home. If not, I will get another big chunk done. So I'll update you when I get to the other end. But for now, it is so fucking hot. I am going to plow the aircon, listen to this audiobook, drive home, get some Hungry Jacks on the way home. And tonight I actually have Dungeons and Dragons, so I'm headed straight to Dungeons and Dragons. So whatever I finish, I will finish today. It is the, excuse me truck, you were incredibly loud. It is the 2nd of February, so I still have plenty of time to read this because this video isn't coming to you until the 23rd of February. But I still have one more book in this vlog that I need to read, which is Babel, which I have a feeling is going to take me most of the month. So I really wanted to smash this out of the park, get myself started, that allows me enough time to finish Babel, edit, and get it out to you, as well as finish some of the other books that I have to finish for February. Oh my God, why do I do this to myself every month? I am about to jump into the 3rd book and I am not ready for this. So the 3rd book that we are jumping into today to figure out if I can trust Brit or not is the one that I have been putting off the longest because it is the one that I am the most intimidated by, and that is Babel by R.F. Kuang. She has advised me that I need to immersion read this, which means I need to listen to the audiobook and physically read it. And we all know how hard it is for me to do any physical reading at the moment. So I am going to get home and start that. So during my drive, I'm going to be listening to something else, but I just wanted to film a little intro that I'm about to start, and I will update you when I'm about 25% through. I have about 8 days left to finish this book. 8 days to finish this dense chonker that I have to immersion read so I can't listen to while driving. And it's only Monday, so I have 3 more days I have to drive to and from work. Wish me luck. Okay guys, so I have reached the 50% mark in Babel. Holy shit, has a lot of information been loaded into my head. I had planned on giving you an update at 25%, but I got to 25% while I was unable to update you. So I've since read through, I got to 50% last night, and holy heck, a lot has happened. This is obviously going to be a spoiler-free vlog. The whole point of this vlog is just to determine whether or not I can actually trust Brit. And I'm kind of 50-50 at this point, because the first one, if we were villains, was a 3-star. Didn't really enjoy it. I finished it, but only because I had to for this vlog. The second one, In My Dreams I Hold a Knife, I gave 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. Smashed it out in 2 days. Was very, very different than I would normally read, but still really enjoyed it. And then this one, Babel, is so dense and so epic, and I'm so invested in our main character, but at the same time, I'm like, holy shit, there is so much information in this book. And it's so like mind tearing, because I'm like, love our main character and I'm so invested in what's going to happen. But at the same time, I feel almost like my brain is turning to mush as I read it, but not because of how shit it's written, but because of how excellently it's written. Like, R.F. Kuang is a genius. Like, their ability to write 3 completely different stories, Yellowface, Babel, and the Poppy War series. They are completely different stories that read in 3 completely different ways that I still to this day feel like, how can one author do this? So 50% through, I don't know what I think. I think I'm sitting at like a 5-star just because it's so beautifully written, and I'm so invested in our main character. But I also feel like there's points where I've been bored, but like they're few and far between, because although it's dense and although there's a lot of stuff going on, I definitely agree with Brit that you need to like immersion read it and do like both at the same time. I have done some with just audio and it has been okay, but I've had to slow it down a little bit than I would usually go much faster. But I'm really enjoying it, and I'm starting to trust Brit a little bit more. Am I completely converted to dark academia to the point that I would pick up any dark academia book? Not yet, and I don't think that is going to happen, but I definitely trust Brit a lot more when it comes to these kinds of recommendations. I always trusted her when it came to like romance and fantasy and other like things. Like, she's not huge into fantasy, but when she did recommend something that wasn't dark academia, I knew like on point we were going to enjoy it. If she enjoyed it, I would enjoy it. We're usually pretty on par. I think the only thing we've disagreed with is Fourth Wing. Other than that, we've both kind of been very, very on par with what we do and don't like. So yeah, I don't know if I can trust you yet, Brit, but so far, so good. 50% into Babel. A lot has happened. I should actually be probably telling you what's going on in the book, but I'm at the point where I'm like, I know and don't know at the same time, so there's no way I can explain it to you. This book is the kind of book that you just have to experience. So I will come back to you hopefully when I reach 75% and give you a bit more of an update, but so far, so good, and so far, I'm starting to trust Brit. Okay, so I have reached 75% of Babel, and I have some thoughts. I definitely was enjoying it a lot more at 50%. A lot has happened recently, and I do feel like a lot more is going to happen. This is definitely going to be very similar to the Poppy War in that I have a feeling that she is going to like try and rip out my heart near the end. I think that what I am starting to feel is that I really enjoy the premise and I really enjoy what I'm reading, and I'm very intrigued by the magic system and I really love the characters, but I do feel like sometimes it is dragging a little bit. And although I really appreciate the learning about the etymology of words and things like that, I feel like it almost sometimes, rather than having like 3 giant paragraphs about it, I would rather hear a bit more about like what the character is feeling or like what's actually going on. And I know that I went into this knowing that it would be a dark academic story, and that would probably be what I would be getting, is a lot of stuff about, you know, words and academia, and like it is literally compared to 2 classics. So I did expect this to kind of read very similar to a classic, but there is no denying that R.F. Kuang is very talented and very beautiful and lyrical in the way that she's written this story, and I definitely feel like it deserves all the praise that it gets. I just feel like I'm not the person for this story It is currently raining right now and Addie's having a bath, so I apologize for all the background noise, but I need to get this finished, so I'm just telling you my thoughts as I reach 75%. But I still trust Brit, but I think that I am slowly starting to accept that dark academia is not my thing. And the things that I don't like in Babel and that I didn't like in If We Were Villains are very similar. And I think that they are the things that are common in dark academia. So I think it's safe to say that I am not a dark academia person, and that is totally fine. I am happy for Brit to be the person that enjoys this genre, and we just don't gel when it comes to that. That is totally fine by me. I am definitely going to finish this story. However, if I wasn't reading this for this vlog, I probably wouldn't have gotten as far as I have. I definitely would have struggled a lot more. I found myself like picking it up because I've had to, not because I've actually wanted to. And it's not because it's bad. I just find that it's not what I'm being drawn to at this point. I started off really invested, and I really, you know, the writing was beautiful and whatnot, but as I reached that like middle, from like 50 to 75%, like that middle chunk, I've really started to feel like bogged down and dragging. I know that the last 25% is probably going to be like crazy again and drag me into some crazy things, but for now it's sitting at a 3-star. I think I have a feeling there's some crazy stuff that's going to go down, but I don't know if it's going to be enough that's going to bring me any higher than a 3-star. I think I've just accepted the fact that dark academia is not my thing. I trust Brit wholeheartedly when it comes to any other genre recommendations, but I think I'm going to say I probably don't trust her when it comes to dark academia, but we shall see. Never say never, there's still 25% left. So let's finish this off and see how we go. Okay, it is much later. The storm has become crazy, so I apologize. But, okay, my final thoughts. I am still like processing, but I think I have not had such conflicting feelings over a book in a long time. Like, my feelings about this book changed constantly through the course of this book. So I think because of that, I have to give it like the average rating of 3, because there was times where I was like, what the fuck is going on? This is so intense. She is so intelligent in her making, and this concept is absolutely insane. And then there was times where I was like, the world building is amazing, and then other times it didn't make sense. And then there was times where I was like, oh, these characters are like so beautiful. And then there was other times where I was like, why would they do that? That makes no sense. So all in all, I had a really good time reading this story, and I definitely would recommend it to multiple people in my life. I'm 100% going to recommend that Anthony reads it. I think that he would absolutely adore this story. It has been on his list for a while, and I'm definitely going to be telling him to pick it up sooner rather than later. And I definitely think that like my dad would really enjoy this story, and my sister 100%. Like, I will be recommending this to so many people that I think would really love it, but I personally am only going to give it 3 stars. I'm sorry, Brit. I really wanted to like this one. This was the one that I thought had the ability to change my mind. The others sounded kind of more at my alley because they're a bit more on the thriller side. And while I will give Babel props, the magic system, phenomenal. I really loved it. It was unique. It was so different from what I'd ever read. I really loved like the concept of it. And the characters were like great. I just feel like it could have been probably done in half the amount of pages. Now, don't get me wrong, it wouldn't have been as beautiful and lyrical and historical and giving all that extra background information. Probably wouldn't have not got across what R.F. Kuang was trying to do. But for me, I feel like it could have probably been cut slightly, even by like 250 pages. And I probably would have felt a little bit less bogged down in times. I don't know. But I definitely think if you are going to read Babel, then you should 100% immersion read it. I wouldn't have been able to get through this if I didn't have the ability to listen and read at the same time. There was times where I would do audiobook only because like I just had to try and get this finished while I was driving. And I definitely found myself like wandering and not understanding it as much as when I was immersion reading it. So my summary for this entire video is, first of all, thank you, Brit, for sending me some recs. I have loved doing this project with everybody involved. Secondly, I 50% trust you. Maybe 75%, I don't know. None of these books were DNFs. None of these books were like 2 stars, didn't like them. So I guess I kind of trust you, but you have not persuaded me to say that I am a dark academia fan. So I 50% trust you in that regard. So thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, because I'd love to have you join this crazy fam. And if you are looking for an emoji to put in the comments so you can be a part of the conversation and you have nothing else to say, you can drop a bird emoji in the comments, because Babel has birds all over the front cover. And that's the thing I'm looking at right now. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great weekend and happy reading. Bye.